Hello guys, in this video we are going to see about the basics of percentage in any aptitude exam. Fundamental topics like percentage, average and ratios will be tested in high numbers, and also it provides a good flow in your problem solving. So if you are preparing for any exams, I will highly suggest you to start with these topics. Now getting into percentage, per stands for out of divided by, cent stands for 100. So percentage is nothing but expressing any quantity out of 100. So if you want to calculate x percentage of y, x divided by 100, percentage stands for divided by 100 times y. Same way, if you want to calculate y percentage of x, which is nothing but y divided by 100 times x. So through this, it is very clear that both the right hand sides are equal because x into y by 100, y into x by 100. So from this we can conclude x percentage of y is also equal to y percentage of x. Understanding basic properties like this will help you to finish off calculations in percentage much faster. For example, if you want to calculate 88 percentage of 25, you can take it as 25% of 88, where 25% is a familiar percent for which the equivalent fraction is 1/4. So we can apply 1/4 of 88, which is nothing but 22. So you can complete 88% of 25 as 25% of 88, which is 1/4 of 88, which is 22. So understanding this 25% as 1/4 helped you to calculate it faster, isn't it? So knowing more and more equivalent fractions for the given percentages will help you to finish off the percentage calculations more faster. So that is what we are going to see next, equivalent fractions to percentage. So if you multiply a fraction with 100, you will get the corresponding percent for it. For example, if you take 1 by 1, which is 1 into 100, that is 100%. If you go for 1 by 2 into 100, that will be giving you 50%. So wherever you want to find 50%, you can simply imply the fraction 1 by 2 to calculate it. Same way, 1 by 3 into 100 if you do, you will be getting 33.33%. Where this bar represents it is recurring, 33.333, it goes on. Or this will be mentioned in questions as 33 1 by 3% in a mixed fraction way. Same way, if you multiply 2 on both sides, you will be getting 2 by 3 as 66.66% or 66 2 by 3%. Another set of equivalent fractions are 1 by 4. Like 1 by 4, which we've already seen, it is 25%. Same way, if you multiply 3 on both sides, you'll be getting 3 by 4 as 75%. So wherever you want to find 75% of a number, you can imply 3/4 of it. Same way, if you want to find 1 by 5 into 100, which will be 20%. If 1 by 5 is 20%, it's easy to understand. 2 by 5 will be 40. If you multiply by 3, 3 by 5 would be 60. Then if you multiply by 4, 4 by 5 would be 80%. So if you want to find 80% of a number, which is nothing but 4/5 of that number. Now next set of equivalent fractions are 1 by 8 and its products. So 1 by 8 of a number, 1 by 4th is 25%. 1 by 8 is half of 1 by 4. So half of 25% is 12.5%. Same way, 3 by 8. So if you keep on adding 1 by 8, 1 by 8, like 1 by 8 plus 1 by 8 is 2 by 8. 2 by 8 is 1 by 4, which is 25%. Now with 2 by 8, if you add one more 1 by 8, you will get 3 by 8. With 25%, if you add 12.5%, you will get 37.5%. So 3 by 8's equivalent percentage is 37.5. Same way, 5 by 8, if you go for calculating by multiplying by 100, you will be getting 62.5%. 7 by 8's equivalent percentage is 87.5%. So these are some harder percentages which will be used intentionally in questions so that you will be wasting your time. In that cases, if you know 65.5% means 5 by 8 of that number, you can finish off calculations in seconds. Okay. Now the next one is 1 by 10, which is very easy. 1 by 10 into 100 is nothing but 10% of a number. So if you want to find 10% of a number, you can go for calculating 1 by 10th of it. For examples, So if you want to find, let's say, 62.5% of 56. Now just now we've seen 62.5 is nothing but 5 by 8 of 56, which is nothing but 35. Same way if you want to calculate 66.66% of 150. So 66.66 is nothing but 2/3. So 2/3 of 150 is 100. So understanding this equivalent fractions and and their corresponding percentage will help you to calculate more faster. Now the next thing which you are going to see is the n question types and percentage. So understanding the n question types and percentage is also very important. So moving on to the n question types, these are the three familiar n question types and percentage which you will always be getting. What is x as a percentage of y, or what percentage of y is x, or x is what percent of y. Now all of them are actually the same question, just posted in different ways. So whenever you get any questions ending up like this, all what you have to look for is what comes after percentage of. In all these three questions, we are dealing with percentage of y, which means y is the total in this question which you are dealing with. So what we have to be doing is, we have to be taking the total in the denominator. So out of y, we have to calculate x. So numerator should be x. So your immediate setup to solve this question should be, as we are finding percentage, you have to multiply by 100. So your immediate setup should be x divided by y into 100. Okay. Now this x and y can be given in terms of any other words as well. Say for example, what is company A's revenue as a percentage of company B's revenue? Now in those kind of situation, you have to immediately know company A divided by company B into 100 is going to be the answer. So if you know the setups immediately, you can start solving the questions without giving any time for thinking. Now coming to some examples, 40 is what percent of 120? Now here we are dealing with percent of, after that 120, which means 120 should be the denominator, then 40 times 100, which is 40 by 120 is 1 by 3. 1 by 3 is nothing but 33.33%. Same way the next thing is, what percent of 80 is 60? Now here we are dealing with percent of 80. So we have to be putting 80 in the denominator, then 60 in the numerator. So 60 by 80 into 100, which is nothing but, if you calculate, you'll be getting 3 by 4, which is, if you cancel it with 20, 23, 60, 24 is 80. 3 by 4th of a number is 75%. Now coming to the next ones, as I said, they might be putting this in word problems as well. Like Arjun scored 120 in a test. Anjana scored 180 in the same test. What is Arjun's score as a percentage of Anjana's score? Now percentage of Anjana's score is what we are having. So Anjana's score is 180. That should be the denominator. And then Arjun's score is 120. That should be a numerator. Times 100. If you cancel it with 6, you will be getting 2 by 3. 2 by 3 is nothing but, like if you calculate with 60, 62s are 120, divided by 63s are 180. So 2 by 3 into 100. So we already seen 2 by 3 is nothing but 66.66%. So this is how understanding the equivalent fractions, also the n question, will help you to make the calculations more easier for you. Now moving on to the next one, which is basic statements that you will be getting in percentages. For example, you will always be coming across statements like A is 20% more than B. So if you are struggling in basic statements like this, you are going to struggle in more questions, because this will not be a complete question. This will just be a part in solving a question. So you should immediately know how to make an equation for it. A is 20% more than B is nothing but A is equal to B plus 20% of the same B. Same way, x is 10% less than y is nothing but x is equal to y. As it is less, now we have to subtract minus 10% of y. Now you can also understand it by using a percentage line. For example, when I tell x is equal to y, x is 100% of y. Okay. Now what we are having is A is 20% more than B. So 100%, if I tell 20% more, it should be like 120%. So you can directly take equation as A is equal to 120% of B as well. Both of them are actually same. B plus 20% of B or 120% of B, they both are same. Same way, x is 10% less than y. X is equal to y minus 10% of y. Or you can go for directly framing the equation as x is equal to, from 100%, 10% less means 90% of y. Same way, moving on to the next one. These are this kind of percentage based statements also quite common. Like a value is either increased by some person or decreased by some person. When y is increased by 10%, which means the new value of y would be y plus 10% of y, or as I said earlier, increased by 10%, which means from 100% it will be moved on to 10% further up. So it will be 110% of y. Same way the next one, k is decreased by 20%, which means the new value would be k minus 20% of k, or k is decreased by 20% from 100%, so it should be 80% of k. Now moving on to the next one, like examples for this thing. Side of a square is 20. If it is decreased by 20%, find the new area. Now, if it is decreased by 20%, which means 80% of the side. So 80% of the side value is 20, 80% of 20. 80% of 20 is nothing but 4 by 5th of 20. So 4 by 5th of 20, if you calculate, you will be getting 16 as the value. Now when the side is 16, new area for the square is well known, which is a square. So 16 square, which is 256 will be your answer. Okay. Now moving on to the next one. Second question. Sarah's salary is 20% more than Loki's salary. Now framing the equation between Sarah's salary and the Loki's salary is the key thing here. So S is equal to 20% more they are telling. So it should be 120% of Loki's salary. So now whose salary is given? If Loki's salary is 40,000, so which means Sarah's salary is going to be 120% of 40,000. So if you calculate further, like 120 divided by 100 into 40,000, you will be getting the answer as 48,000. Now moving on to the next one. Yasu is having 30% less stamps than Kavi. Again, framing an equation for this basic statement is what going to help you to solve the question immediately. Now, as we discussed, y is equal to 30% less from 100%. So which means what should be the remaining percent? 70% of Kavi. So we'll take it as k. Now whose value is given? Again, we have to be very careful in that situation. If Yasu has 210 stamps, so y's value is given as 210. So 210 is equal to 70% of k. We have to find the value of k now. If you evaluate further, you will be getting the k value as 300. So like 210 divided by 0.7, that will give you the answer as 300. 70% is nothing but 70 by 100, which is 0.7. Now moving on to the next one. Percentage change. So without percentage change, getting percentage kind of questions is very rare. So because percentage change is a very frequently tested one. What is percentage change and what is this formula is? Difference divided by original value into 100. Now identifying this original value is the key thing in all this percentage change kind of questions. For example, if I tell a simple example saying, in the first exam, a student has scored 60 marks and in the second exam, the same student has scored 80 marks. What is the percentage change in his marks? Now here you can understand the change, the difference in the values is 20 divided by original value should be the first exam's value, which is 60 times 100. Here it is easy to find the percentage change. 20 by 60 is nothing but 1 by 3, which is 33.33%. That's easy. But your percentage change questions will always be tricky like this. For example, now the same situation is put in another way. Like student A is scoring 60 marks. There is another student who's scoring 80 marks in the same test. Now my question is, by what percent A is less than B? Now the second question is, by what percent B is more than A? Now in this case, whenever you have percentage followed by any change representing words like percentage less, percentage more, you are going to still apply the same formula, which is difference divided by original into 100, because these are also some change, right? Percentage less, percentage more means as well. But the problem is, in both the questions, the difference between the values of A and B is 20. There is no problem with that. But picking the denominator in both these questions is where you have to be careful, because you don't know which person score is the original value now, right? So there are two persons, 60, they are scoring 60 and 80. Now we can't pick original value that easily like in the first case, isn't it? So this is where we are going to understand this questions logically in two ways. Percentage followed by any kind of positive change like increase, more, growth, profit, percentage higher, percentage greater. Whenever you get any words like this in your percentage questions, what you have to do is difference divided by. If something is increasing, it will increase from a lower value to a higher value. So initially the value should be a lower value. So immediately you have to go for difference divided by lower value into 100. Same way, percentage followed by any kind of negative word like percentage decrease, percentage less, percentage loss, percentage decay, percentage depreciation, any kind of negative words like this, you have to go for understanding the thing as if something is decreasing, it will decrease from an initial higher value to a lower value. So the initial value should be a higher value. So difference divided by higher value into 100. Now applying these two things over these two questions, by what percent A is less than B. So as we are having percentage less, we have to go for difference divided by higher value. Higher value among these two is 80. So for the first question, 20 by 80 into 100. For the next one, by what percent B is more than A. So 20 divided by, if something is increasing, it will increase from a lower value. So 20 divided by 60 into 100. So this is how we are going to approach any percentage change questions. First, we have to understand whether it is an increasing change or a decreasing change. Then we have to go for the corresponding denominators. So if it is increasing, it will increase from a lower value. So difference divided by lower value. If it is decreasing, it will decrease from a higher value. So it is difference divided by higher value into 100. For example, try applying the percentage change in this following example. Like Raju's score or Raju's salary in the year 2019 was 40,000. In the year 2020, he got an appraisal of 8,000. So Raju's salary is, in 2020, Raju's salary is 48,000. What is the percentage increase in his salary? So in this question, we are dealing with percentage increase. So we have to go for difference in the two values divided by lower value into 100. So difference in the two values is 48,000 minus 40,000, which is 8,000, divided by the lower value among them is 40,000 into 100. So 1 by 5, which is 20%. So this is how we can complete a percentage change questions faster. So hope you all understood like whatever discussed today. So these are first set of basics in percentage. Now I will also be displaying some practice questions to do based on the things that we have done today. So try doing this percentage based examples and post your answers in the comment section. So I will be posting the answer explanations in the next video. And also if you like this video and if you find this is helpful for your preparation, please share it among your friends as well. Any doubts or suggestions you can post in the comment section. Subscribe and enable notification if you don't want to miss out the future videos. Thank you. Signing off, Hemanathan.